Hi, it's Jill from Jilly Bean Studio. I hope you can join me today for some flip throughs of some junk journals. Welcome to the channel or welcome back. I'm glad you could join me today. A paper bag journal, friends, for Junk Journal January. What fun this challenge was. Currently in 2024, I'm going to go through that as my first flip through today. And then also I'm going to share with you my January pages in my creative monthly journal. So I hope you can settle in, and I'd love to know what you are enjoying with your journaling and if you participated in Junk Journal January as well. I also, by the way, have these free printables. They are in my Ko-fi app. And I use this time, I want to show you, this is it was kind of fun for me. I've been doing this new altered book and some art doodles, and I scanned just a little, let me get this in frame, that would help. A little bit of this, and also a little bit of this color wash here, and use those in this month's printables. So in the little two for the month of February, I have some of those art doodles, and the hearts were made from that little bit of watercolor wash. So I think that's fun. I'm calling those art hearts. And then I have a second posting for these. I know we only have 29 days in February, but I like to do generally the dates in sets of 30 for most months. So those are called stained glass dates, and those are also free in my Ko-fi app. So I hope you will enjoy them if you're interested. All right, here it is. This cutie pie I have really enjoyed, and actually more than I thought, working in this more junkety junk journal, using the paper bag as a base for the junk journal. And one of the things that got me off, I think, to a good start is this beautiful book. It's where I took the cover image. I love it. Look at that. The black and white images, the soft pastel images. I used a lot of that throughout the journal. And this little cutie I didn't even know was in there, so let's save that for later. And the other thing, I thank you. So many of you gave me ideas for a closure. I don't know what it is. I struggle with closures. So I decided to go with a button and a simple string. I love this floppy little junk journal. I'm going to go through the prompts, and I think for me, the joy of doing these prompts is digging into my stash, trying new things, new supplies, techniques, supplies I haven't used in a while. So this is set up by Meg and hosted by her at Meg Journals, and also Get Messy Art is part of the collaboration. And actually, every day there are other creatives showing a video on the different prompts across the month. For me, I set a personal goal, which did not always work, but I had the idea of doing 20-minute pages just to get me to my art desk and kind of get started on a page and keep it, I don't know, keep it in a reasonable amount of time, because I wanted to do a lot of different journaling this month. And you know what? It did help me sort of make a small goal, and sometimes it was a half hour and sometimes it was longer or shorter, but I really like doing that this time. So this is the prompt for quote, which is the second one. And then on the right is the prompt throwback with that big old button. I don't know, did you back in the day? I'm a back in the day person. I had big buttons on my clothes. So I just love that. And that brought back a good memory. We are on prompts 4 and 5, but I reverse them. Prompt 5 over here with that scrappy little flower, and prompt 4. Prompt 4 was the tuck spot with this cute little leaf that came from the paper bag. And prompt 5 was a daily log. I just jotted down some things that happen mostly on the regular. Not always the exercise, but we'll we'll skip that for now. And then on the left we have, let's see, memory, and I have an old photo and I did some writing. And then on the right I have this cute little, nope, that's not coming out. I guess those are all layers. Sometimes you forget if you glue it down or not. This beautiful stitched trim and then that wonky stitched button. But I really like it. I think it's cute and I love that blue color. Let's see, next here is neutral. And I decided also at this point to keep track. I do love to jot down notes in my journal what supplies I was using. Because again, I think that that's part of the joy of doing these sorts of challenges is playing with new supplies. And sometimes I don't remember, even looking at the page, I'm like, what was that? So I like that little list. Cute little belly band on tracing paper, a lot of stamps there. On the right was foliage. I mostly used a napkin, glued that down, and a quote. This is where we get into a lot of layers. On the left-hand side is the prompt oh, stuck. Yep, I tend to, sometimes I glue things in pockets, friends. Yeah, so just some bits that I thought were cute, keeping a little bit of a nature theme up in this book. And on the right-hand side is eclectic. I used some gilding wax, which I haven't used very often. Did a lot of scrappy layers, more of that stitched trim. And that was a greeting card with the hole in the center. In fact, I made a lot of this journal. If you want to see it, I'll link the videos with old greeting cards from the holidays. Torn edges on the left and a winter garden with a cardinal on the right. And then these were the prompts for opposites and pattern. So opposite color on the color wheel, and I used a fun stencil in the middle there for pattern. And we're really almost mid-month here, I think. Yeah, and that was also opposites. I tend to combine the prompts a lot. This one is flow on the left-hand side, and I put a little scrappy bit in that art design. And then on the right is whimsical. I love that little mushroom and the owl. And now we're moving on to borders and interactive. So I have a little bit of the borders collaged on the page. And then look at this. I love that scrappy yarn. And I hole punched in some packaging, that little butterfly or moth, and just tied those in. Made some napkin flowers on the right and added a quote for the nature prompt, which is the next one. Now this page starts to be a real combo. I did bookshelf with that little shelf on the top, texture with the scrappy book text on the bottom. That's the peek out, which is, I think we're at 21. Yeah, peek out. And then ombre is the cute little leaf. Translucent is the tissue paper I used right side down. Fabric across the top as a border. I work these all in together, and I even think that photograph looks a little transparent there. That old-timey image. I love that. A New England grand cottage. I live in New England. We're wintry here, so I love seeing that beautiful flower poking out. And towards the end here, we have lyrics and grungy. Use music paper, and back in the day, James Taylor. Love his lyrics. And then grungy, was mostly coffee dyed. Geometrics was that little bit of the, that structure of the ruins on the bottom. Travel, I used some of a travel brochure. Put that Arizona in with a grungy tag. and it's hard to believe, but we are at the end. So number 31 was reflect, and I usually write when I do that. Added some washi, and gosh, thanks Meg and Get Messy Art and all of the collaborators. I really enjoyed Junk Journal January 2024. And I love this little paper bag. It's bendable, it's easy to work in, it's no pressure. The only thing I'm thinking of, and I would love your thoughts, I don't know if I want to cover the spine. I have that fabric with that text print on it. I also have this. I have this paper tape. I don't know. Or I could just leave it. Yeah, so let me know in the comments. I would love to know what your thoughts are. Look how floppy it is. I think there's more paper bag journals in my future. That's another great thing about these challenges is you pick out something to work in and then you like it. So you do more journals that way. And certainly easy enough to find that supply. Look at that little cute chunky thing. All right, Junk Journal January. Loved it. This is my creative monthly journal, and I had a problem this week with staples. I usually work in journals that are sewn in my notebooks, comp notebooks, craft notebooks, and I don't know. I guess I haven't worked in stapled notebooks. So what I'm showing you is that I had to do a lot of reinforcing this week with fabric. I have a little band on here. I'm moving from this band because this journal is chubbing up nicely to another button. Hey, look at me. I can do closures. Yay. So that is a work in progress. And the January pages, I don't journal every day in my monthly journals. A few times a week is my practice. These are my January printables, and mixed in the dates and the kind of the cute little stitching shapes like the bird and such. Have a little tuck spot in here with some journaling. I jot notes about every day, just everyday things. A lot of it is hidden journaling because you don't see it on the page, but on the left is just regular journaling. I decided to use my word of the year. I don't always pick one necessarily, I don't know, formally, but I'm using the word revise. I put that on a little tracing paper. There's the little birdie there that is in the January printables. Those are still up in the Ko-fi app. And some of them on the right too. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you that watercolor works pretty well. Have 2 pages glued together, and it's been fine in this journal. I have been cutting the edges, and I'm loving it. I think this tall traveler's notebook is just a newer format for me, and I was missing the staggered size pages in junk journals, so I cut around that cute chickadee. I have more journaling to do, and of course I put in Junk Journal January as a memory. A lot of cute stamps with dragonflies and butterflies. Oh my gosh, I again live in New England and the weather has been bananas. Ice, snow, rain, you name it. You blink and it's different. I've been brainstorming for the 100-day project, which is mid-February. I want to try that again. Oh yes, and this is Kat Hand's new challenge in 2024, Layers of Fun. It's from her mixed media morsels, and so it was a lot of like dripping and splattering and colored pencils, and I used a napkin, put it on with a little brad, and there's some rub-ons there. I also cut that page. And then the brad has the other side, it went through the page. So I stuck on a little bit of tacky glue with a kind of thin wooden button. And I lost my glue top, so I put washi tape on it. I can't find it, guys. I don't know. It's gone. And now we're moving into February. So I made a decision that I was going to use this notebook for 2 months. I was feeling like with my other projects that would be a great idea. I'm showing you some pretty purple ink that I've been putting around the edges of some of the printables since a lot of them are purple. And this is where the problem was. The journal signature was coming out. Put a little muslin fabric first, and then I've layered over that even with some more. And I went on to layer up these pages with more fabric reinforcement as I prep the pages now. I had prepped them a little bit because I thought this was going to be a full January journal. But now I definitely know to get in more fabric or washi. But those staples, friends, beware. You really do have to reinforce them. And then this is part of the January printable set that's on the cover. And then I have that little die cut. And I'm working on that closure. February printables. I really enjoyed making these art hearts. I think they're just a fun way to add a little pop of color to your journal. I'm definitely a color pop kind of gal. And I'm going to continue in the beginning of the year working in this altered book. And who knows, maybe another paper bag journal as well. So I would love to know about your journaling in the new year. I really appreciate you stopping by the channel, and I hope to see you in the next video.